Ever wonder where Batman got the Bat Truck? Or how some of his early party animal encounters went? Well, today, with the Absolute Batman Annual, you'll get to see both. The past. Thomas Wayne puts down his newspaper and sighs in sadness. Young Bruce glances at the headline, reading that an extremist bombed the city. "Why do they do that, Dad?" Bruce asks. Thomas shakes his head and looks at his son. "I wish I knew, Bruce. I wish I knew how to fix the world," Thomas tells him. He looks back at the paper, which tells of a world that is breaking faster and faster. Every student I teach, I know I have a chance to make a difference in their life. So maybe someday, one of my students won't make the same mistakes these people made, Thomas says softly. Now, Bruce drives an old beat-up truck past the homeless camp just outside Slaughter Swamp. He glances out the window at the people who huddle around a burning barrel, trying to stay warm. A priest stands among them, handing out food. A young boy looks up at the passing truck and waves. But Bruce keeps driving. He can't help them. Finally, he arrives at Earl's pawn shop in Slaughter Swamp and is led inside by the owner. The old man motions to a pile of weapons and ammo. "As requested, explosives, modified rubber bullets, beanbags, the works. All less lethal," the owner proclaims. Bruce nods as he looks over the inventory. He reaches out and pats a vintage flamethrower. "That will work," he grunts. He turns and hands the guy a wad of cash before starting to load it into the back of his truck. "That project on the edge of town, what's going on?" he asks as he places another box into the back of his truck. The old man shrugs, explaining that a company came through and bought up the land, started building and making big promises to the people of Slaughter Swamp. 3 months into construction, they got up and left. Who knows why? What's left is what you saw when you drove in, the old man says as he leans against the truck. "Those people you saw came looking for something better. Didn't find it," he says. But Bruce has stopped listening. His attention is drawn by a nearby commotion. "We told you you can't be here!" someone shouts from a nearby alley. Bruce starts to head toward the sound of a beating. "Leave that alone, son. Nothing you can do," Earl shouts after him. Bruce rounds the corner to find 3 men in pig masks beating a homeless woman and her son. He moves fast, stepping in and slamming his fist into the first goon. Another turns in shock and pulls a knife. "Bro, you just made a big mistake," the pig growls. Bruce readies himself. "We'll see," he grunts. Someone moves behind him, and the shop owner cracks him across the back of the head with a wrench, dropping Bruce to the pavement. "Shoulda listened, city boy," the old man says as he starts to move forward. But a voice calls out, "What do we have here?" The shop owner looks as a towering man steps into the alley, the leader of the white supremacists in Slaughter Swamp, a man named DJ. "Out-of-towner. Savior complex, DJ," Earl explains. DJ nods and steps forward, kicking Bruce hard on the ground. "Oh, I love city boys," he says with a smile as he kicks him again. The others join in. "Chin up, man. Tonight is the night we get to pay back this horrible city that turned its back on our boys and embraced the swill. All that changes now," DJ calls in between blows, but someone else joins them. The priest Bruce saw earlier steps from the shadows, moving forward and covering Bruce, shielding his body from further beatings and begging for mercy. He looks up at one of the Pig Goons. "Jeffrey, I've known you since you could walk. This is not you," he shouts. The goons finally give up and head towards their nearby motorcycles. "Leave those bitches on the ground where they belong. Let's do what we came here to do," DJ shouts as they rev their bikes and head off into the night. Later, Bruce awakens on the old priest's couch. He's bandaged and his head is swirling. He looks up to find the priest sitting by his side. "I hope you don't mind. The hospital is a good hour away. They got you really good," the priest says softly. Bruce nods and slowly sits up. "Won't happen again," he grunts. He looks around the room and notices a picture nearby. His eyes widened in surprise. "Is this you?" he asks as he reaches for it, staring at two men who are peacefully protesting, their arms linked while shouting their beliefs, with guns pointed at them. "A long time ago now. Made a lot of friends during that time. A lot of us chasing peace. A never-ending journey, it seems," he says. Bruce nods and puts the picture back. 6 months ago, we had an outsider come. Recruiting. I don't know much about him, except that he's been filling the holes in the hearts of all the men here. He's given them a dark place to go," the priest explains, leaning forward in his chair. "They plan to run the people out of the encampment tonight, by any means necessary," he says softly. Bruce stands and heads outside, finding that his truck had been burned, but the case in the back is still secure. The priest follows him, unsure what he's doing. "Where are you going? What are you gonna do?" he asks. Bruce takes the case and starts to walk away. "Sometimes, peace isn't an option," Bruce growls. Shortly, DJ and his goons have arrived at the encampment, where they find the police waiting for them. "DJ, you know we can't let you do this," Officer Powell tells DJ. The two men stare at each other before they burst out laughing. "Good to have you here, brothers," DJ says as the cops reach up and pull their masks over their heads. He lifts a bat wrapped in barbed wire and points it at the group of homeless in the distance. "Let's clean up this town," he roars to his followers. They move quickly down into the encampment, dragging people from their tents, swinging their weapons wildly. DJ is among them, swinging his bat. "I am the new truth. I am power, pure power," he proclaims as he starts to raise his arm in a salute. "White power!" But his ranting is cut off as Batman suddenly appears, grabbing his outstretched arm and snapping the bone at the elbow. Batman pushes him to the ground and moves to the next thug, kicking him hard in the face and bringing him down. One of the cops turns and raises a weapon, but Batman grabs him and powerbombs him into the mud. Batman whirls. His body is overtaken by rage. The old pawn shop owner is standing nearby, his arm around a young boy, holding a gun to his head. "Don't come any closer, man. I'll do it," Earl snaps. Batman's hand snaps out quickly and 3 batarangs slice through the air and impale the man, stabbing into his eyes and cheek, causing him to stumble back and release the boy. And Batman flies his knee into the man's face. Batman turns back to DJ as the man fumbles for a pistol. He brings it up and fires, but his hands are shaking and the rounds go wild. And Batman stomps forward and smacks the weapon aside as he punches the man in the face. He begins to beat him, his fists falling again and again. Blood begins to splatter with each blow. But suddenly, the priest is there, throwing his body over DJ, just as he did Bruce. "Stop! This won't fix it! It won't!" the priest pleads. Batman stares at him in surprise. "What are you doing?" "I don't know how to make it better. I only know how to not make it worse. Please, this isn't the way," the priest begs. Batman stares at him for a moment, before pointing to the symbol on his chest. "This is my way!" he yells before turning away. DJ's men have begun to flee, and Batman knows they are gathering more men for a second attack. He begins to follow them, but stops when he picks up the ring of keys on the pawn shop owner's belt, turning to see a massive construction truck lit up by the lightning. The goons head to the headquarters of the white supremacists. They begin to barricade themselves inside, readying their weapons, but they don't know what's coming for them. The lookout suddenly bursts through the door and keeps running. "Get back! Get back!" he yells to the other gunman. Batman smiles as he drives the heavy dump truck through the front of the house. He leaps out the door and is among the racists in moments, swinging his axe, chopping through their weapons. One of them stumbles away, squeezing the trigger on an empty pistol as Batman stalks towards him. "Get back, man! You can't do this! We're human beings!" the man shouts. Batman shakes his head and pushes aside his cape, revealing the flamethrower that he took from the pawn shop. "No, you're roaches. Only one way to deal with those." Batman growls at him as he activates the flamethrower. It ignites with a whoosh, and the flames leap out, eating at the wood and spreading quickly. When the flamethrower tank is empty, Batman steps out into the night, the flames glowing behind him. He stops as he sees the priest providing first aid for one of the goons. "Why?" Batman asks softly. The priest looks up at him for a moment before turning back to his work. "You have your way, and I have mine," he whispers. Batman stares for a moment longer before turning away and heading towards his new Batmobile. The past. Thomas hugs his son. "You did a lot of cool stuff when you were younger, Dad. You made a difference. You did something. I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna be just like you," Bruce promises as he looks at his father's old pictures, holding up one where his father stood with a priest, arms linked in peaceful protest. Thomas smiles at his son and pulls him into a hug. "You have a strong and compassionate heart. All you have to do is be yourself. No matter what you do, I'll always be proud of you," Thomas tells him. Sanctuary. The party animals slip quietly into the large house. The group is led by a massive man, his body cloaked against the burns that Batman gave him after their failed attack on the Gotham Municipal building. They are on the run. "The kitchen's back here. I've got the gun cabinet," one of them whispers as he moves deeper into the house. His crew moves past him and heads towards the kitchen, part of his face revealed by the cracks in his party animal mask. But he stops. His eyes fall on the family photos. A smiling boy standing with his parents. In the kitchen, the party animals begin to boil oil in pots on the stove. They grab kitchen knives and duct tape them to broom handles for spears. "We need sentries on the roof," someone hisses, and two of them head off. The leader joins the young party animal at the gun cabinet. The door swings open to reveal empty racks and a couple of spare shells. A shotgun cocks behind them. "I sleep with the shotgun these days. What have you done now, Victor?" a voice calls. Victor's father steps out of the shadows of his bedroom, the shotgun in hand. "I thought I recognized your voice, Victor. You brought friends. I called the cops. You can take what you want and go," Victor's father tells them. But the party animal leader shakes his head. "Cops aren't too punctual these days, Pops. Something much worse is on its way," the leader hisses. Above them, there is a scream. Outside, something dark leaps from the night. Lightning crashes and illuminates a dark, cloaked figure. The two sentries scream as they are pulled into the shadows. Inside, one of the party animals rushes forward and hits Victor's father with a hammer, dropping the old man. Another retrieves the shotgun. "Like I said, something much worse than us is on its way," he whispers. He turns back to the old man, blood seeping from the head wound. "We need guns, old man. Is this the only one?" the leader growls. Victor's father motions to a space behind the bar. "Floor safe. Behind the bar," he gasps. Suddenly, there is a crash from upstairs, and all the party animals freeze in place. It's the upstairs window. He's inside, one of them whispers. The one with the shotgun readies the weapon and heads slowly towards the stairs. The head goon opens the floor safe and pulls out a bundle. His eyes widen beneath the mask as he opens it to find automatic weapons and grenades. "Damn! You one of us, you old sumbitch?" The leader laughs. He reaches into his robes and pulls out a vial. "Just need a special brew for our last stand. Crafted by reincarnated Hyperborean witches, synthesized from the spinal cords of frightened orphans. At least that's what they said online." He grunts as he snorts the powder. Nearby, the animal with the shotgun slowly moves forward, watching the stairs. He steps out from the hallway, and something grabs him from above, yanking him up into the shadows. The shotgun drops to the floor as he screams in pain and fear before disappearing. Two party animals rush forward with their makeshift spears, but something hits them and sends them flying back into the kitchen. The other party animals watch in horror as Batman steps from the shadows, his cape swirling about him as if it is alive. The leader charges forward, drawing twin automatic Uzis, his body pumped up from the drug in his system. He no longer feels the pain from his burns and tosses aside his cloak. "You burned me once, you sumbitch! Suck holy flame!" The leader screams as he opens fire. He laughs as the rounds chew through the kitchen. Victor's father jumps in to pull his son to the ground as the leader fires indiscriminately. But Batman leaps over the uncontrolled fire and kicks out at the leader. But the thug drops his weapons and snatches Batman out of the air. "Feel my righteous hand, demon!" The party animal leader bellows. Batman twists in his grasp and brings the thug to the floor, twisting his arm around and snapping it. The other party animals grab the pots of boiling oil and rush to help their leader, but Batman is thrown into them, knocking them all away. The leader gets back to his feet, ignoring his broken arm, and charges Batman again. But Batman reaches out with his cloak, grabbing one of the pots of oil from the party animals and throws it at the leader, the boiling oil melting his skin off. The sound of sizzling flesh and smell of burning skin fills the kitchen. Batman stares at his enemy. The leader staggers on his feet for a moment before reaching down and pulling the pins off the two grenades. "Suns burn to make light, and cast out the dark!" he bellows. Batman turns and moves fast, leaping across the room, throwing his cape up for protection. The explosion rips apart the kitchen. Moments pass until all returns to silence. Smoke fills the room, but eventually clears, revealing Batman standing over Victor and his father, protecting them. The father smiles at his son. "You're okay. You're all right, kid," Victor's father whispers as blood pours down his face. Shortly, Batman swoops off into the night, prepared to protect his city once more. And that was the complete story for Absolute Batman Annual Number 1. The first story by Daniel Warren Johnson and the second by James Harren. What did you think of these two stories? Let me know in the comments below. And like and subscribe for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm Dan with Comicstorian, and we will see you next time. Rest in peace, Benny.